Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Win with Ryan, where we cover the crypto headlines, surf the crypto markets, and we surf the world. So in today's video, we actually have a special video. I've got my friend and special guest, Brent Galligan, on today. He's actually my crypto mentor, one of many crypto mentors. He's always got the goods on the coins before they come out. So I wanted to bring him on, talk about the altcoins that you need to be holding now. Again, like always, this is not financial advice, just financial education. So do your own research. If you decide to take any of this for your own advice. So here's what we're going to do today in this video. We're going to cover quite a few things. Number one, we're going to cover like, what is crypto? Why is crypto the next level of the internet? We're also going to cover some of our favorite altcoins, what's going on with those altcoins, why they're important to the entire crypto economy, and what is going on with the crypto economy. So stick around for the whole video. Brent is a phenomenal host, and he did a great job explaining all these great things. And I'm super honored to have a crypto expert like him on the channel. So here we go. You can also find Brent on Instagram if you ever have any questions or want to reach out to him. Brent the Gifter, like giving a gift. He's going to give you guys some gifts in this video for sure. But Brent the Gifter, follow him on IG. Let him know how much you liked the video. All right, here we go. You there?
Yeah, what's up, man?
All right, cool. So man, we were just doing a pre-chat chat, and that was friggin' fire. So I had to hit record automatically. My buddy Brent, my mentor, like originally when I first introed to Bitcoin back in 2016 and 17, Brent was the guy that led my way, and now he has newer, grander visions for what's going on in the crypto space. And everything that you've done so far in our group and in the chats that I've had with you have literally, I've like, I don't know, 15-20x my my coins already because of this guy. So he's got some great stuff to share with us today.
I'm getting pretty good. I'm getting pretty good at feeling the market. You know, you know, maybe it's just luck. Who knows? But I definitely called the right shots the last few weeks for sure.
Yeah, it's been fire. And a holo chain behind me. I got the logo up. You just you got me on that one. Yeah. So
we're holo cheaters right now, man.
Yeah, and it was
I'm
cool.
stacked pretty heavy.
Yeah. So Bitcoin, obviously amazing, been around forever, but you were just talking about the new gold rush. And could you go into a little bit more about what you were just saying about going from, you know, old school coal to gold, and what's the difference in crypto and what's going on?
Yeah. So I mean, you know, first of all, a lot of people they hear the word crypto or the word blockchain, you know, and then people immediately freak out. You know, they don't know what it is. They don't understand it. You know, the really simple way to explain it is it's Internet 3.0. And the majority of our websites that are currently out there, you know, most of our social media websites, et cetera, those are all built on smart contracts, which is blockchain technology. So, you know, first of all, it's an internet that's here today. And essentially, the idea of decentralized finance is the idea of, you know, really, I mean, it's capitalism at its purest form. You know, there's you know, all these projects that are coming out, like for example, Bitcoin was the first, so that is your digital gold storage, and it doesn't really have any other real purpose other than just to digitally exchange any currency. You know, and then we had Ethereum, you know, pop up in 2014, and that's Ethereum is an actual, essentially an algorithm that outputs information, and companies, but because we're in the definanced world, we have to call these companies projects, because they are not an entity that's operating for profit. It's simply an entity. Now the reality is none of these are actually deregulated in the sense there aren't, in the sense that there's always entities operating these things, but they're simply management companies that are operating them. So there's still somebody at the helm that's, you know, running the ship. But what's happening right now is it's kind of like the .com era where, you know, we had in whatever 94, we had, you know, newspapers printing articles that, you know, said, you know, hey, no one's gonna sit in a chair in front of a giant computer and read the news. Yet here we are now having conversations on mobile devices, and we're putting it out into the world for everybody to see. So clearly they were wrong. You know, and then what happened with crypto is, you know, in the 17 and 2018 pushes, when everything kind of crashed, I think a big part of that is just, you know, the world wasn't necessarily ready for it. You know, just like Holochain's been out for a long time, but they literally came up with a way to fix congestion on blockchain technology, which we can kind of jump into a little bit with Ethereum. But basically, Ethereum blockchain only can record a certain amount of transactions on its ledger, and I think the ratio is like one second per one transaction. So when you have, now that you have this crypto space that's exploding, and you've got retail buyers, you know, huge hedge funds dropping massive amounts of money and splitting up transactions in wallets, so you know, not to, you know, peak certain numbers. Well, that process is causing a lot of congestion, and you know, you have these companies like Holochain behind you, that have figured out a way to divvy that workload out, but still keep the integrity of the blockchain, which in all honesty is probably one of the safest ways that you can store money. You know, and it really helps people. I think the crypto space kind of helps people understand what money is. Like if I'm walking around with a $1 bill, it doesn't mean it's worth $1. It just has $1 printed on it. I think currently against the pound, I think the US dollar is sitting at about 84 cents right now, 83 cents. So that's what our dollar is actually worth, right? So a $1.65 candy bar is actually going to be worth more now because you're paying more for it. But yeah, so, you know, you know, I think this, a big topic for this call and kind of what we had talked about is, you know, kind of opening the doors for people who don't really understand crypto. And I think that's kind of a basic understanding. But then moving forward, people are also scared, like, well, I don't really know what it is, and I don't know where to get started, or I don't know how to invest, or it just seems, you know, really difficult. Well, you know, here in America, you know, and I'm going to promote, I guess we're going to promote Coinbase here, but it's a simple platform. It's very basic. You can invest in essentially all the safe assets, right? Because these exchanges are only going to take coins they are safe with and they know that they can make money off of. So Coinbase is a great place to start. They offer rewards for referral bonuses. They give you like $40 in free money for learning on education. And then the next step is you just simply buy something, you know, throw $100. And the beauty of it right now is what we were talking about is we're in the gold rush. So, you know, a long time ago, whenever we had the 13 colonies, we only had people living on the East Coast. And then dudes went to the East Coast, they found some gold, and everybody was like, hey, we got to go to California and go get this gold. Well, we've got a bunch of mining equipment on the East Coast for coal, but we don't have mining equipment for gold. So along the way, they're learning and they're developing and changing these tools to better suit their needs when they got to the West Coast. But also in the process of that, you have the infrastructure built. So, you know, people see these big scary numbers where Bitcoin goes from 5,000 to 55,000. And it's like, well, shit, what if I buy at 55 and it suddenly drops to 5? Well, that's just a stupid thing to say. It's just not an intelligent thing to say. First of all, you know, cryptocurrency is now the third largest currency in the world. So for someone to say, hey, we're just going to shut off this entire cryptocurrency across the globe, well, you've got $2 trillion, $2.5, $3 trillion worth of money invested into the space. You know, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of money. So the market's only going to increase. And I definitely think the SEC will eventually come down harder and harder on the crypto spaces. But I think that they're going to stay out of it with new economic growth and development and everything that's currently going on. And this is another reason it's like a perfect melting pot of, excuse my language, but shit that has happened over the last year and a half that has really allowed this space to profit the way that it has. And, you know, for guys like me and you who throw, you know, we're nobodies and we're throwing a couple $100 on something, and all of a sudden we got a couple $1,000 on something, you know. You know, I think that's the reason I started my group, is because, you know, I just found myself constantly day trading and talking about it, right? And then would slowly get my friends involved, and I figured, well, and I actually didn't start the group. A mutual buddy of ours kind of started the group, Consistent. Evan, who's also on the group. But So we're in a gold rush, and people don't get that, and people are, timid. And I tell people right now, like, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I tell people, throw your money in crypto right now, because it's a gold rush. We're in a bull run, and it's going to go for a long time. You establish any industry, you have to pump money into it, then you output products, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. And it's going to go on forever. I mean, they predicted markets, even, financial analysts and all these other people, they predict market cap to be somewhere around 25 trillion to 40 trillion at a stability. Essentially, it's going to be another S&P or another, another like collective, fund that's really going to have a massive, amount of money. And so right now, we have all these, stable projects that have been out forever. Like Bitcoin was the first, so it's digital gold. That's where you put your money. It doesn't really have any purpose. Then in 2014, we had Ethereum come out. ETH, what everybody calls it. So ETH is basically a giant blockchain of information where companies can build their businesses on that, and utilize that technology in that blockchain. And so companies are building new apps every day. And what people need to start realizing is, many people are very speculative. You have these meme pops, like things that shouldn't exist, like Dogecoin. I don't know why the hell it exists, but whatever it does, that's fine. It doesn't mean that I'm not buying it now, because there's enough capital in it. I can't ignore that Dogecoin exists, but there's no tech behind it. So moving forward into this space, a lot of guys that have been trading a long time, what we're starting to realize is, you can find these newer projects that a lot of times even mirror. You take, for example, Decentraland. In the last like 4 months, how many companies have come out that have mimicked Decentraland, right? A virtual world where you can exchange, and you can buy and sell land as NFTs, right? That's the hot thing. So these companies just, boom, phase one. I got a globe. You take the open source code from freaking, Google Maps, and then you throw a grid on it, and boom, you've got a speculative, white paper that you can put out to people. And because the market's so hot, it doesn't really matter what people are putting out, which is why you definitely need to be careful, and you definitely need to do your research on these projects. But if you can find a project from the ground up, like one we've been talking about constantly on our group, is Uplexa. I can't even buy it yet. I don't even know where to buy it. But we're mining for it. And since we've been watching it over the last 3 weeks, Uplexa is a coin that's going to operate this game called Upland, which is actually owned by Upland Brewery. And their market cap has gone from like $100,000 to 1.7 million.
Yeah.
In the last few weeks, so we've watched that and we're mining for it. So, I mean, it's not really worth much right now, but if I'm mining, and we've got our other buddy that mining 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 coins a day, well, those are 3 and 4x returns every other week, and it's free money. You just have your laptop on, have your computer on. And their algorithm is so basic, you can actually download it on your phone and earn money. So, in theory, the idea, what about a charity event where you take a bunch of old, generation 1 Android phones, send them to a third world country and download Uplexa. Now these guys can make money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool things that can be done with cryptocurrency. And I think that once people kind of start to see that, they're going to start migrating to these, these places. We were talking about Decentraland. It's literally Ready Player One. It's a real thing. You can plug in and, you can build. You no longer have to buy an Xbox. You just download software on a computer that you want based on whatever dev developed it for you. You no longer have to go to college to be a developer and go to school for 4 years and do all the hoops and ladders just to get a job at some, big conglomerate corporation that's going to pay you $80,000 to basically build, $100 million game. Like, now you can do it on your own. So, that's where we're at. We're at a point where we're doing this, and it's just going to keep doing this, and it's not going to stop. And the more that the economy keeps pumping, the more that the U.S. keeps printing money backed by more bullshit, the more people are going to move to this space. The last STEMI, they predicted something like $60 to $80 billion that STEMI was immediately transferred in the crypto space.
Yeah, I know I put mine in there.
So, thank you government for that money that we've all made on now on average since this thing came out. I mean, the market's going berserk. So I just tell people, get on Coinbase, get a referral from you, use the referral link from this guy right here. He's the champ. And get on board and just, buy something. And if you need help, you're always out to help everybody. Like, I mean, I can call you at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're like, what's up, bro? So,
Well,
or you're charged, you're like, bro, look, watching this, it's up.
I know. I can't
We're
stop
in an
it.
exciting time, man. We're in a massive wealth transition, and there's a lot of young people that are making a shitload of money. And it really just comes down to how proactive are you going to be in doing it, or is you're going to run into 9 conversations of your friends over the next 6 months, and all of them all of a sudden are saying, hey, yeah, I just got into crypto, or hey, I got into crypto. Most people are hearing it more and more and more. You can't go anywhere without hearing the word NFT. Everybody knows what that means.
Yeah. Well, I like it because my aunt, who like is not into money at all, she's like, oh, I got Bitcoin now. My cousin got Bitcoin. My sister accepts Bitcoin for her dog grooming business. My girlfriend's an artist. She's phenomenal. She accepts Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin is like not the easiest way of transferring, but like you said, it's the entry point, right? So people are like, ooh, I got Bitcoin. It's like the gateway drug. And then once you get Bitcoin, then you get some Ethereum. And then you're like, wait a minute, let's look at these other things. And then you start looking at, why does this one have a 45% growth today? You start seeing that on Coinbase and you're like, well, I'm going to do a little bit more research. And then you start researching some of these, and you get some altcoins like you're talking about. And you don't have to spend $55,000 for one coin. You can spend $1,000 for 100,000 coins on certain projects. And then if that goes up, 10 cents, you've just quadrupled your money. And that's really exciting.
You can buy a hollow chain right now for 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, thanks to you, I got it at 1 cent.
And $100 a hollow chain, sit on it for a couple of years. Market cap hits $1. I mean, you're almost 100x.
Yeah, which will be really exciting. Now, you mentioned Uplexa, the game Upland. You had talked about this, I mean, I think 2 months ago in our group chat. You're like, hey, go play this game. And I started playing it, and it's actually really cool because you can buy and sell real property on the game. And then you and Michael found out a way to mine it with Android phones and also old computers, like you mentioned, just by going to uplexa.com. There's actually
a total there. You can get, if you have a $50 crap box that you've been sitting in the garage, turn that bad boy on. There's also, even if you have like old Xboxes, there's ways that you can utilize an old Xbox and convert those into mining operations. So a lot of people that have old electronics or old computers sitting around, they've got a broken screen, but it still works. Well, then great. Then plug it into a monitor and then get it running. And then you can literally unplug it from the monitor, because you don't need the monitor for the mining operation to continue to operate. So now you have this broke computer that you were going to throw away, and maybe it'll prompt you to get out of your house. Like, I had 3 old devices that were sitting in my house, and I hadn't extracted the data off yet. So it kind of forced me to go get that done. And then since then, I've been mining, Uplexa for a few weeks, and I've probably made enough money to pay for the data extract.
Which is really cool, because that's just going to be continuous over time. But also the projects. So one of the things that you mentioned too is like Bitcoin, Ethereum. Some people didn't understand it, but now these projects are coming out that you can play. Decentraland, you have Mana on there, right? I actually went in there, one of my videos, and played the game. Upland, you can play the game. So talk a little bit more about Decentraland and playing the game, and like if people want to get into projects, they can use.
I mean, cool world. So I mean, as far as gamers especially are kind of more in tune, I feel like, with crypto space. Your Twitch users, those guys have gone down these data centric, spaces before, but you've got Twitch, right, which is a normal non-crypto company. It has a market cap of around 15 billion, and it is a space where you can essentially lease out. You can rent a space on Twitch, and you can put your information out into the world, whatever it is. It could be gaming, if you want a video, flowers growing, it doesn't really matter. And then you get a percent based on viewership, and all those things. The problem again with those is, if I have some really awesome content and I want to get it out to the world, algorithms are engineered in a way where, especially if it's a company driven, they're looking at whoever has the most viewership. They want that person's advertisements to be in front of your face, in front of your face, in front of your face. So what ends up happening, and if you really look at our internet world today, if I try to navigate on the internet and I start my mind with an intent to go down a path to look for one thing, 99% of the time, these algorithms on these social media apps, et cetera, kind of sway you. And next thing you know, I went to go look up French fries and now I'm looking up, Kodiak bears, and it's like, how the hell did I get to this pathway? And it's just, it's these algorithms lead you that way. So Decentraland is kind of a cool idea in the sense where, any of these spaces that pop up, anytime you see them where they're selling an NFT space, what that really means is it's just a digital space where you can buy it, which basically is like, I just bought my own company, right? So now I am a really smart coder and I'm really good at making video games, but I'm too lazy to go to college. Okay, well now I can spend, right now on Upland, you can buy spaces for really cheap. There's also Earth2.io. That's another one that's just like Decentraland. And everyone kind of has their tweaks. Like Decentraland kind of built a world. They have like certain areas, and then they have real estate that's more expensive based on that area. So they basically just like straight up gentrified it right out the gates. Versus like Earth2.io, it's an exact replica of the planet. So you're buying the exact location, the exact space, which is pretty cool. We've actually been thinking about like considering buying NFTs. We're here in Texas. There's a huge surf park in Waco that's like globally famous for surfers. Yep. You could go on one of these anytime a new app pops up like these. You could go buy those NFTs when they're really cheap when they first come out, and then hire a coder and then build a virtual surfing world. And then people can come visit, and then they can use the coins that are in the economy. In the case of Decentraland, their coin is called Mana. And funny enough, Mana is actually currently worth more than the United States dollar.
Yeah, it is. It's $100 today. Yeah.
So our virtual world money is worth more than the U.S. fiat. Yeah. Go figure, right? And Theta Fuel, that is the coin that powers Theta, which is the streaming app that's the opposer of Twitch. Their coins are sitting around 42, 43 cents right now. And Theta was crazy. I mean, we all were part of the Theta boom. We all got in on that one. Theta went up like 16,000% in the last 2 months, 2.5 months. We've got a buddy in our group that sent us a message and said this house is built on Theta, and it was a really, really, really big check. And these are all young guys. These are guys that are making $150,000 off of $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000. So, it's big, and I know that you're trying to encourage the world to get out there and to get on board with crypto. I love what you're doing, and I love that you take the time out of your day and do this. I know that you're not making money right now looking at charts. Yeah. So I applaud you for doing this, and I know that we've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm glad that we finally got to link up and get this done. But
yeah, it's really cool. I was doing a lot.
That's Theta. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of research on crypto and everything to stay involved in the group and trying to learn. And I was like, I've got this YouTube channel and I've been trying to do something that's exciting and fun. It's about surfing, but why don't we surf the markets too? And so all the reading I was doing on Cointelegraph and all these different things, I was like, well, why don't I share this with everybody else, right? So started putting the videos together, and we are getting paid now for the videos. We officially hit monetization a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so got to build the channel up. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. So we'll be able to take the YouTube money and put that into Theta, probably Theta T Fuel, because I like that project a lot. That's probably my favorite project because of the streaming, the video, and I think like you've talked about the T Fuel that's going on once mainnet 3.0 goes on active. That T Fuel has the most growth potential versus Theta itself as well. So having both is what's exciting.
Yeah, again, when people are very speculative right now in the crypto space, and you just have to look at market cap. So figure out what it is. Like Filecoin when it came out, that's essentially a decentralized Dropbox, right?
Yep.
And the market cap now is, I'm not even sure. I think it's 4 or 5 billion, something like that. So, and it just took a giant dump. I mean, it took a 50% dump, something like that, in the last few weeks, and all of us are still like, who cares? Because we've made so much money on it. But other projects that are coming out, obviously there's, just because one brand of soda comes out doesn't mean that other brands of soda can't compete, right? So, you've got another one that you want to look after is Storage, STORJ. That has a low market cap, so there's a lot of room for growth. If you've got a project that's sitting at 5B, and you've only got another project sitting at $900 million, there's a potential for 4x growth there. And that's a safe player. That's one that's on Coinbase.
Yeah, so let's go into that a little bit. For when people are looking at projects, you mentioned market cap the most. Like, so for people that are wanting to get into a coin that has a potential of going up, you talk about market cap more than anything else. And can you explain what that means? Like, why would someone not want to get into something that already has a massive market cap when, like you said, it's little brothers coming out and it has no market cap yet, but it can take some market cap from the company? And what is the market cap that we should be looking at?
So what I always do is I just look up the industry. So first of all, crypto right now, you have to look at it from a, hold on, I just gotta so in the space, you have to take a look at a macro view, not a micro view. A lot of times people get super pumped on a particular stock, and they become obsessive with it, and and it does really well for a while, and then it kind of stabilizes, and then what happens is they're just waiting for the next one, or then it goes down a little bit. They're not satisfied with selling because they wanted it up here, or whatever the case is. And what ends up happening is you end up just holding on for dear life, what we call a hodl. Well, there's just certain times the hodl, and I tell everybody to hodl back. I was just looking at my Coinbase account. The last time I paid myself was on September 27th of last year. The last time that I withdrew funds from my crypto account. But so what I'm doing is very macro. I'm looking at it as a whole. So we've got, it's a pretty basic. If you want to do like an analogy, I guess you could say, imagine Ethereum is like the first big computer company. We all know their names. I'm not going to use any like companies' names on this, but there's the first big company. Okay, well, everybody's like, well, put all your money in that and put all your eggs in that basket. Well, that's the first technology. Technology is going to advance. It already is. Ethereum, as a matter of fact, is coming out with a 2.0, right? They're changing their entire staking process. And it's congested, but it's so popular that everybody's just continuing to build their software on that computer, right? Essentially. So everybody's just building software on their computer, building software on their computer. But there's all these new blockchains that are coming out, right? And blockchains are going to be hosting apps, which means once you have a stable blockchain that's working and functional, and you have these what we call dApps, or DeFi projects, or depending on whatever the projects are, they're going to start hosting on these other blockchains. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's a little bit harder to communicate with the management company at Ethereum to get your project on the blockchain versus going to a blockchain like Tron, or essentially going to a sub blockchain like Holochain, which kind of is like a sub blockchain almost within the Ethereum network. So those are going to be big factors. So like we need more blockchains in order to grow our overall market cap as a whole. We need more projects, and in order to generate more projects, we have to have more stability in the blockchain. So that's why you're going to see things like Tron. That's why you saw Tron, jump up 900% in the last month, because they have apps that are operating. And so obviously Tron's not going to go anywhere, because if Tron goes somewhere, then all of those dApps are going to go somewhere too, right? And that entire economy built on that entire blockchain is going to go bye-bye. So, the first thing I do is, if it's a blockchain style coin, right? Like who is it going to be supported by? You know, what kind of money is already in it? You know, you can also, you know, go to things like Tweet Grid, and you can look up certain keyword searches, you know, so you can see the popularity. Like what we were doing a few weeks ago, you were looking at holochain, there was no mention of it, and I was like, buy holochain, I promise. And then a week later, there was a, what is it, a 268% increase in chatter over the online about holochain.
Yep.
You know, and then all of a sudden, then we saw this massive spike, right? And they've done it slowly, which I feel like is kind of how it went on the radar. If you actually look at the numbers and you look at the charts, holochain is not stripping profits. Like they're just letting that economy stack. So blockchain technology, you know, you look at the market cap of Ethereum. It's probably around, I'm going to ballpark these, I don't know the exact numbers. What's today, the 8th of April?
Yep.
We're probably, Ethereum's over 2,000, so that means market caps can be over 250 B. You've got, you know, Bitcoin over 55, which is going to be over $1 trillion. But I mean, if you look at Ethereum, so you got 300 or 250 B in Ethereum, and then, you know, you've got, you know, you take another blockchain like Cardano, which, by the way, ever since the initial release in Coinbase, it's been really stagnant. And if you notice, it doesn't matter how much money gets put into that thing, they just keep taking it out. That's why Cardano hasn't made any moves, which I kind of, in all honesty, I mean, I'm not going to sit around and wait for, you know, a blockchain that's already at $40 billion. So Cardano is at like 42 or $48 billion. That's already a pretty big blockchain if you consider, you know, the largest company in the world is X amount of dollars. The second largest company in the world is usually, you know, a fraction of that, and then the next one's a fraction of that, right? Like, we're not all going to have the best grocery store in the world, but, you know, there's going to be grocery stores everywhere. So that's kind of where we're at. So I always look for blockchain things to invest money in, solutions to distribution of information and blockchain technology, any kind of solution that's going to be data centric, because again, the technology is new and it's being built. You know, holochain came out way before its time. They released, you know, hey, we're gonna fix congestion. You know, it's like coming out with the congestion pill before the flu season. It's like, well, no one's gonna use it, but then, you know, 6 months later, all of a sudden everybody's using it. So, you know, they're early projects and they're big enough projects where you've got $3.5 billion or $4 billion on holochain right now behind it. And we've already seen 5 billion, and we're in a bull market, and they just had their technology patented on the 30th of last month.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any spikes. And the reason for that is people always speculate based on news, like, oh, some news came out, so it must be going up, right? Well, no, I mean, so if they just patented their technology, it means they've been waiting to like utilize that technology, which means they're probably going to cut some profits, which is why we saw that drop, you know, on the first, second, third, fourth, whatever that was, right? As we saw the whole market kind of, you know, breathe a little bit to open up some new space, and so that some of these companies can get some money. So, you know, guys like you and I, we're not worried when we see the charts go down, because ultimately right now we're in a bear run. In a bull run. It's going to go up. We're not in a bearish market. We're in a bullish market, and it's been a bullish market since May of last year, with an exception to a few months. You know, maybe September of last year, we kind of had a funky month and then kind of slowed down. But once December started hitting again, man, it has been popping. And then we had all the right things. We had, and I mean, I hate to say, you know, the right thing is Corona, but shutting down the whole damn planet actually helped the crypto space, because people stopped spending money and they started hodling their money, holding on for dear life. And they're not even crypto guys, right? They're just holding on to their cash because they know that they don't know when the next time they're going to get a paycheck is. So people have actually turned to investments as opportunities to generate revenue. You know, everybody's got a second gig. You know, I live in a college town. Every girl in this town has an OnlyFans page now, right? Like everybody's doing a second thing, right?
Right.
So it's just a perfect opportunity. And now we've also got the stimmy package that just went out. That was another $2 trillion. Now we're having another stimmy package that's going to go out. That's only going to cause the value of the US dollar to go down. It's going to cause trust in the US dollar to do this. And you have this global currency that has a network that's massive. I can go online and buy whatever I want using Bitcoin. I mean, Elon Musk, we talked about this. Elon Musk is now accepting Bitcoin. We all know the crypto guys. He's not accepting Bitcoin for cars, or he's not accepting Bitcoin. He's stealing, he's hoarding all the Bitcoin and trading it for cars.
Yeah. I mean, think about he's buying Bitcoin through cars at wholesale price because he's making them. He gets the wholesale price of that car,
and they're paying the 30% tax on the sale.
I mean, he makes the markup.
I mean,
plus the
yeah,
tax.
Elon Musk is a little fiat over here for Elon Musk. You're a genius. We all know that you're worth more than Mr. Bezos. It's just all your assets are hidden in crypto. So
yeah,
he's market guy. So, basically what you want to look for right now, kind of closing it, if you want to look for stuff right now, the things that you want to look for, you want to look for useful items, not just shit coins. There's all these new shit coins that come out and they're trendy and they're popular and you don't know how safe they are. You don't know if they're, registered to the SEC correctly. You don't know, you've already got all these guys that, these famous dudes getting popped and getting busted. Manny Pacquiao got busted, a huge hit because they didn't register their currency through the SEC. So all of a sudden, all the investors' money just went right out the window, right? So there's a lot of things that you need to be aware of. But moving forward, when you look at, for example, gaming projects, we're in the gaming space. I mean, cryptocurrency is computers. That's gaming. So anything gaming related, especially with these worlds where they're selling NFTs. Right now there's Decentraland, which is like a real world, build real code. You can kind of build whatever you want. You can build a water slide. You can build, a massage parlor. Like, it doesn't really matter. And then, this Earth2.io, you can essentially do the same thing. Upland's built a similar way. It's kind of more cartoony, and you're buying spaces, and the development of the game is, going to be more this cartoony. But that's you're gonna have like the little kids or the younger kids that are want to play the kind of more cartoony stuff. And they're gonna have these other people that want to go to Decentraland, and literally, in Decentraland in the next 2 years, we won't have to fly to Vegas to go to a convention. We can just plug into the convention in Decentraland.
Yep.
That's a great idea out there. If anybody's listening to this video, be the first guy to have an event hosted company on Decentraland where you actually have like full-blown an expo hall, virtual expo hall set up. Like, that's not too far away. It's really not. So, like I said, in closing, just look at blockchain technology. If you see any new ones coming out, Tron, all these other ones, their market caps are still low. Tron's under 10 billion. If Cardano's as big as them, I don't understand why Tron can't be as big as them, especially with all the new dApps that are being developed on Tron. Same thing with Holochain. And these devs that are working for these smaller companies like Holochain, they're willing to go out of your way to help an app. If you're an app creator, they're willing to go out of their way to help you get your app on their blockchain, because ultimately it's going to generate more stability for their product. Yeah. And then the other thing is, a really safe way to bet is just to buy shit on Coinbase.
Yeah.
Buy shit on Coinbase. And then join Google a Facebook group, and then even if it's annoying and there's 1,000 messages, just sit there and read them all, because just sitting there and being a part of an economy is going to help you start to talk that way. If you want to be a biker, you can't just Google a biker. You got to go hang out with bikers for a couple weeks. You got to learn the lingo and wearing the leathers and doing the things, right? Like, if you want to really understand this business, you got to dive in. And people think that you got to start with, $1,000. I mean, we're coaching guys that start with $150. We got a girl that joined our group a couple weeks ago. She's a waitress. She started with $150. She's got like $375 in her wallet now.
Yeah. And it's funny because
it's already almost 2x. So
some people are like, oh my gosh, that's hardly anything. But like you just said, that's 2x. If you would put that in Apple, it's not 2x. You know what I mean? Like, there's coins out there. You can really...
gone down, by the way, in the last 2 weeks.
So
yeah, and they're like, well, I need more money. And it's like, well, if you had put more money earlier, you would have understood this. Like, but now that you're here, let's take that 375 and let's help you, grow your wealth. And then very quickly right now, you can have 1,000. When people don't realize this, compounding, that really starts to matter. When you're compounding, 1x into 2x. Well, now you have 2x, and then when you compound that, now you have 4x, and that's when it really starts to make a big difference in the, you know, in the crypto world. You know, exciting times, man. We're in the gold rush. You know, all your viewers on this, I hope that they listen to this, and I hope that they just buy stuff. You know, get involved, learn how to do a swap. You know, a lot of guys we had to coach how to do a swap. It's scary. It's
Swapping
scary.
is scary
It's
in the very
money,
beginning.
and
Yeah,
then it's code, and then you send it. And
Yeah.
people are like, I'm fucking scared out of my mind, right? It's scary. But then once you do it, it's like second nature, and it's no big deal. You
Yeah.
know, I needed some fiat today, and so I exchanged for some ETH to a buddy of mine, right? That saved him of the gas fees. And it's really simple. Hey, here's the ETH address. Great, boom, done. Sent.
It is really
Just
exciting
like,
how simple it
you
is.
know, Venmo. Except our money goes up. You have that $20 sitting in Venmo, the money doesn't go anywhere. You got 20 bucks sitting in ETH, it goes up.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
$5, I still got 20.
funny story about that too,
Did
because
I lose you?
no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So funny story about that, by the way. I had
Nope. You went out.
$150 in Cash App that I forgot that I had from, like, I had originally put 150 in there. It ended up turning into $470 something. I just recently
We're
looked at it.
experiencing technical difficulties.
You might be. Your signal. You there? There you are.
There you go.
Cool. I was saying, that's funny you mentioned that, because I actually had that happen to me with Cash App. I had $150 that I had in Bitcoin, but I forgot that I had that in the, because I was using other exchanges at this point. I went back to my Cash App and clicked that button for the stocks and crypto section. It was up to 470 something. I was like, holy crap, my $150 just like almost 3x right there. So that was really funny. But
Yeah, and you know, people don't understand it. Look, here's the thing: if you have money in the bank's using your money to make money, right? They leverage assets. So this dude's got 1,000, this dude's got 500, and this dude's got 300. Okay, you take the total amount, divide it by 3 people. You look at current bank activity. You look at averages of how much money they keep in their bank, and then you determine as a bank what's safe to take from those individual accounts and invest. That way you can have enough liquidity to be able to cover all 3 of them if they were to come in and ask for money. But then if you can make 20% return on this money and then put it back in their bank account, well, now they have 20% assets to work off of that you don't. So a bank is a place to store money, and that's it. But your money should always be working for you, even if it's $1. And in today's world, the only people that could trade stocks were, you know, people that were at the stock exchange from 9:30 to 4 in New York City. You know, or you had to call your stockbroker and pay him this, you know, outrageous fee to do an exchange for you. Now you can do it on your phone.
yeah.
You know, you can get a paycheck, transfer it into you know, an exchange like Coinbase, put money on something, make 50% returns, and immediately they even have a feature where you can exchange your Bitcoin for US dollar, and then immediately for a 1% fee, immediately have it back in your bank account.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that? You know,
Incredible.
and obviously there's some taxes involved. We do have to pay, you know, our 30% taxes. It's not really considered a capital gains because we're not dealing with commodities, but I'm not a tax guy. I'm not going to get into that. Just know that we're in a great space to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Speak to your accountant for that stuff. So, all right, Brent. Hey, man, I know you're a busy guy. I really appreciate it, taking your time, helping out, you know, the crypto evangelist that you are. I'm really, I'm glad that you've been able to help me, and we're going to help tons more people. So I appreciate your time. I seriously do. I'm very grateful. And I look forward to doing this in the future as well. We'll have you back on the channel for sure.
Good, dude. For sure, man.
All right. Have a good one.
Waves, bro. I'll be up in your area to hit some surfing.
Yeah, we got to. See you soon.
All right, later, bud.
All right, bye.